G'day, Joel Rasmussen from Fight News Australia here with the face who runs the place, Mr. Jacob Watts here backstage at Hex 28. How did the night go today, Jacob?
It was a massive success. You know, it's going to such a large venue and taking such a big step up. Obviously, it was a bit nerve-wracking at the start, but man, I have no complaints. We had some amazing fights. We had a crazy crowd, over 3,000 people, breaking a record for Australian MMA, and yeah, it was a great night.
Talking about it being such a crazy venue, you know, last time I was here, we were at the Melbourne Pavilion. You seemed very boots on the ground tonight, a lot of running around, a lot of you calling shots. I saw you throughout the night. How was kind of running the event? Was it a little bit more involved than it has been before? What was like the literal running of the event like?
Yeah, you know, we've got a massive team behind us. We've got a lot of people in different areas, and you know, we're not the kind of people that sit back and just let other people do everything. Like, we want to be involved. We want to, you know, see the going-ons of the show, and yeah, I think the people that we have in place to do certain roles, they work really well, and we've just got such a strong team behind us.
Jumping into the fights, I did want to ask you about Michael Manu's performance and kind of what you thought about the bantamweight division at the moment.
Yeah, it was a great performance. You know, obviously a pretty high stakes fight. There was a lot of pressure. You know, he got booed crazily when he was coming out, which was pretty, you know, it was cool to see. Such a passionate crowd, but I think he was just really composed. You know, he didn't let it get to him. There was a couple of times where I thought he had that DAS locked up for sure. And yeah, I think he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to outclass him over 3 rounds, and he did just that.
What do you think about Emrahan?
I think he's still got a massive future ahead of him. You know, he's young. I think this would be a really good learning experience from him. I know he's had a loss, but back when he was, you know, 17. But I think he's only going to grow from this, and I just hope that he doesn't take it too hard and kind of lose his way. I hope he bounces back, and you know, he's always got a home at Hex.
You know, there was some very high-level fights. The main event, the co-main with Brendan Favola, and that fight as well had a lot of Emrahan and Manu I'm talking about, had obviously that there was a lot of shenanigans going on at the press conference. What did you make of all that? Now that it's said and done, what do you make of kind of all that stuff that was going on?
It's fun, you know. It's not something we usually see in Australian MMA, so I think it's only going to bring more eyes to the sport. I've had a lot of people that reach out to me that aren't really that involved or that aren't that interested in the sport that were really keen to watch the fights. So I think it's only going to bring, you know, more people to the show and bring more eyes to it. Yeah.
Now, talking about the main event, Jono McAuliffe puts on a fantastic performance against Joseph Luciano, and captures the Hex welterweight title. What do you think of that performance?
It was you know, amazing, and I think I had a few people that said, you know, Jono's the future, but I think Jono's the now. You know, he's a lot of people kind of questioned why he got this shot. You know, he's only 4-0, but he proved why he was in that position. It was a dominant performance against someone who has dominated everyone recently. You know, Joey's an incredible fighter. He's still got a huge future ahead of him. So I was super impressed with Jono's performance, and there's some huge fights ahead of him.
With that welterweight division, how do you kind of see that shaping up? Obviously, a huge thing coming into this fight was Matt Vale. Matt Vale, a former Hex champion. He's got this history in this promotion. Where do you kind of see the welterweight division going?
Well, we just obviously locked in the New Zealand venue, and Matt Vale's from New Zealand, so I think that there's the potential that we could see that fight over there. Obviously, we've got to catch up with the team next week and you know, discuss our options moving forward. But I think, you know, this year has been such a huge year for Hex. It's been our first full year since taking over, and I think that next year we're really just going to blow the scene apart.
Talking about that, I know that's obviously a huge step for you to be able to look forward and go, we are going to go international. What would, in your mind's eye, what does a Jono McAuliffe and Matt Vale fight in Auckland do for Hex?
Oh, man, it would... It's not just for Hex; it's for the whole sport. It would probably be one of the biggest fights in, you know, Australia, New Zealand MMA history. Matt Vale's got like a cult of people behind him. They absolutely love him. I can only imagine how loud the boos would be for Jono walking out in front of that. And I think that the whole build up to that fight could be amazing. Like I said, obviously we've got to have a catch up with the team and have a meeting about it. But just initially, I think that would just be an incredible main event for a New Zealand show.
With Festival Hall, obviously it's a huge opportunity and a huge staple. What did it mean for you guys to be able to put on a show here at Festival Hall?
Yeah, it was incredible. It's been, from even the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it's been the hub of combat sports. So to be the first event that's come back here in such a long time and to have an incredible crowd that we did have and the fights that we had, I think it was amazing to be able to have that opportunity to show the country, what we're about.
I know you've been a very busy man, as you said, kind of boots on the ground here today, but another big step for you guys with this event was the beIN Sports partnership with the pay-per-view. I don't know if you've necessarily got the numbers. I don't know if you've heard anything from it, but could you tell us anything that's been going on with that partnership and how it went tonight?
Yeah, it was a massive success. Just from initial reports, we had, before the event was even streamed, we had over 1,000 pre-buys of the event. So that's huge for us. To be able to have the opportunity to be streamed on such a big platform exclusively in the country was awesome. We also had a huge number of overseas streams in especially Brazil and Turkey and Dagestan from Yulson and Emrahan. So it was a huge success on the stream, and obviously I'll go home and watch the fights again now. But yeah, I'm very happy to be partnered with beIN.
Of course, the co-main event had Brendan Favola take on Tony the Tradie. What did you think of that fight and Brendan's performance?
Yeah, it was super fun, man. Like that, I think it did exactly what we set out to do. We wanted to bring a huge, mainstream audience to the fights. You saw the crowd that we had. We had, Brody Mychek, Jack Chris. We had Michael Zarafa. We had Brent Harvey. Like we had just a plethora of stars in the sporting world that came to watch the fight. So I think that it did exactly what we wanted it to do, which was to bring new eyes to the sport and show that MMA isn't this violent, gruesome sport. These two guys have had limited training, went out there, had a safe contest. It was fun. The crowd loved it. And yeah, I'd love to continue to do fun little things like that over the next, however long. Have
you got a chance to talk to Brendan after the fight?
Yeah, he was pretty gassed, but he loved it. He it's something that he's wanted to do for a while, and he, for someone who hadn't really trained that much, he actually didn't look too bad. Obviously, the cardio was a little bit iffy, but the boys traded. They landed some pretty big shots on each other, and like I said, the crowd absolutely loved it. So I think it was a huge success.
I understand you're a very busy man. I'm just going to ask you three more about some fighters just to get your thoughts. First off, I want to get your thoughts on Joseph Luciano's performance and kind of where you think he sits now.
Yeah, like I said earlier, he's such an accomplished fighter, and he's so well-rounded. And I know that will probably take this loss pretty hard. And I know he's pretty banged up, but I think he's got a huge future ahead of him, and he's someone that we would absolutely love to continue having on the show.
And a very exciting lightweight, Mr. Harry Webb, became 2-0 tonight, picking up a very impressive second-round TKO. I was wondering your thoughts on him and how his career's shaping up.
Yeah, he's 3-0 now in pro, but 2-0 on Hex, and I think that he's just an absolute star in the making. He if anyone is a lock for the UFC, it's him. He's got incredible striking. You saw him get taken down tonight, and he literally just threw the arm off him. He just threw him. And the kid's got everything. He's got the look. He's got the confidence. He's someone that we will just continue having on. And he's someone that I believe will make that transition to the UFC quite early.
And finally, another exciting lightweight bout that was on earlier in the night. Mr. Jack Lyons coming back after an extended period of time off. First show at Hex. Goes out there, secures a first-round TKO. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's an animal as well. He has had quite a long time off with some injuries, and he did he's 50. I think it was 53 and 53. Did 53 marathons over 53 days, which is crazy. So I think he's the kind of person that anything he puts his mind to, he's going to accomplish, and he's such an exciting prospect in the division. And to beat someone like Max, who is someone that will never quit, he's an incredible fighter. So to do that to someone like Max, he's got huge potential.
Jacob Watts, I know you're a very busy man, so I absolutely appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it.